Good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters out there. How are you doing this beautiful evening? Your brother Tony is in the house. Welcome to dinner time. It's that time to eat some good soul food this evening, my brothers and sisters. I hope that you have the appetite because we got a good show tonight. It's going to be very, very short. So get ready for this good food tonight. And I see that Sister Parker, she is at the table. How you doing, Sister Parker? Get ready for some good dinner tonight that's on the menu. Come on in, the rest of my brothers and sisters. We got a good show tonight, and I'm not going to keep you long. Believe it or not, I'm not going to keep you long. I'm about to get into it shortly. I'm about to display the menu and let you know what we're about to consume tonight as far as soul food. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow for me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship basically from a spiritual point of view. How you doing, Brother Key? Welcome to the dinner table, brother. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sister. How you doing, Sister Kirkpatrick? She said she ready to eat. So come on, brother. Come on in, sister. Brother said, you just don't know. I be ready to serve the dinner for you all through the week. And I enjoy it when we get together as family so we could break some bread. You all just don't know how during the day I look forward to expounding some things to you. Not explain, but expounding some things. So let me tell you this. If this is your first time at the dinner table, I talk strictly about relationships. I talk about a relationship basically, like I said, from a biblical point of view. I believe strongly that God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Thirdly, he presented the woman back to the man. And in the presence of God, Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That's the position that I talk about, my brother and sister. However, if you have another point of view, my brother and sister, if you're thinking about something else, allow me to tell you this. You have what is called a free will. You do whatever you choose to do, but I encourage you to stay at the dinner table. But I like to let you know that on the menu, I basically serve soul food from a biblical perspective as far as a man and woman with God in the middle of a relationship. With that said, we're about to get into tonight's content. And it's very, very important, my brother and sister. By the way, there are some of you that need to be aware of this. I talk on two different platforms at the same time as far as killing two birds with one stone. I talk to people on the book and I talk to people on the tube. If you're on the book and I say something to somebody on the tube, you may not could see it, but I see it. You know what I mean? So they brothers and sisters, okay? And those you're on the tube, when I say something to somebody on the book, you may not see it, but we still family. So I want you all to know that I'm talking for two different platforms. How you doing, Sister Kitty? Welcome to tonight's dinner table. It's hot. You all come on in, invite some more of your brothers and sisters in because we got a good short show tonight, okay? A good short show. Now, what are we gonna what's on the menu for tonight? When God calls you to be a chosen one, what will happen to your relationship? That's on the menu tonight. When God calls you to be a chosen one, what will happen to your relationship? Now, what is chosen one defined as? When we look in the dictionary, my brother and sister, chosen one is defined as called by God for a special purpose. As you know, my brother and sister, when I talk to you, my ministry, I'll be basically talking to you brothers and sisters, right? And any friends that want to come and sit at the dinner table. Because what I'm talking about, the world cannot receive it. The world cannot receive what I'm talking about because the world, they got a twisted point of view when it comes to a relationship. But when I talk to you, my brother, when I talk to you, my sister, you got to understand, God has a point of view when it comes to a relationship. The world has a point of view. And I stand basically from God's perspective, okay? That's why the world, if somebody from the world happen to come and they smell what I got cooking at the dinner table, they may smell it, they may come close and just to see what's on the table. Okay? So that's how the world would view the dinner table, okay? But now, again, chosen one. A chosen one is defined as called by God for a special purpose. Now, my brothers and sisters, those of you that are here and you are into God through his son, Jesus Christ, you all are on the broad road. Because Jesus said, broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, but narrow is the way that leadeth to life. So if you are going on the narrow path of life, you are following Jesus. So I'm talking strictly to you. And I'm talking basically to a lot of you brothers and sisters that are basically single at this point. Before you decide to get engaged, and then it should lead to marriage. As far as marriage go, all you all basically know that God looked for a man and woman to move towards the stage of being engaged, which should lead to marriage. That's God's point of view. The world point of view is you ain't got to get married. The world point of view is that you could waste someone time for years and years and bounce from one relationship to another. That's the world point of view, but that's not God's point of view, okay? But now, my brother and sister, as it is written in Matthew 22:14, that's Matthew 22:14, Matthew 22:14, Jesus is doing the talking. Jesus said, many are called, but few are chosen. And those of you that are called, a lot of you that sit at the dinner table tonight, my brother and sister, you need to know that if you're following Christ, you were called by God through his son, Jesus. You did not go looking for Jesus. Jesus came looking for you. And he seen his spirit that was knocking on the door of your heart, and you finally accepted the call. And let me tell you this, my brother and sister, let's go back into eternity. Now, what I'm doing now, I'm giving you the appetizer before we get to the meat, okay? So you know when you go to a restaurant or whatever, they give you the appetizer before they bring out the main dish. So right now, I'm giving you the appetizer. Before you came into this world, my brother and sister, before you came into this world, God himself had a plan and a purpose for your life. Now we're going to go to God's word. It said, as it is written in Jeremiah 1:5, Jeremiah 1:5, Jeremiah 1:5, it said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. That's right. Before God formed you in your mother's womb, my brother and sister, it said, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you to be a prophet to the nations. Now, he was talking basically to Jeremiah, but you, my brother, and you, my sister, it'll apply the same way. You're not a prophet. Wherever God put you in this word, my brother and sister, you are not here by coincidence. You're not here by accident. You're not here by your mother and father getting together and you were a mistake. You're not a mistake. If you're here tonight, my brother and sister, you are not a mistake. You were destined to come into the world. God had a purpose and a plan for you, my brother and sister. Now, when God called you, my brother and sister, God sanctified you. What does sanctification mean? God set you aside. God reached into this world. Remember, God is in eternity. So God reached into this world. He pulled you out of the world. What do I mean by that? It's something that you don't feel or you know about, but this is what God does. He pulls you out of the world. He cleans you through the blood of his son, Jesus, and he reinstalled you back into this world, the matrix. Satan controlled this world, but when God called you, my brother and sister, you may have been doing your own thing for a long period of time. From a young child on up to whenever God decided to call you. But my brother and sister, when you came into the world, you knew it was something peculiar about you. You knew it, but you could not put your finger on it. You understand? You knew you were special, but you didn't know how special you were. You were special in the mind of God before he created the world. So when God brought you here, my brother and sister, when he brought you here through your mother and father, whether they were married or not, you are not here just because your mom and dad is, let's say your mother and father was not married. You are not an accident. Even though they didn't do it the right way, you're not an accident. You know why? Because God give life. God directed your father's seed to impregnate your mother through her egg. You are unique. Out of all the seeds that your father placed in your mother, you the one who reached your mother egg. God decided for you to come into this world. So right now, you got to understand this. Sisters and brothers, you're not an accident. God had a plan and a purpose in your life. So let's say this. When God called you, my brother and sister, he sanctified you. He made you holy. Does holy mean that you don't make no mistakes or have no sin? It doesn't mean that. God just set you aside. You are a chosen vessel, my brother and sister. You are chosen. You are a chosen one. You are special. Brother, you are a prince. Sister, you are a princess. God is, I'm telling you, your lineage. God is your father. Jesus is your Lord and your brother. You are a royal priesthood. You are family, my brother. You are family, my sister. You are part of God's kingdom. You're either going to be a part of God's kingdom or Satan's kingdom. There are two kingdoms. No matter what you hear or see on the map or the planet Earth, it comes down to two kingdoms. There's a kingdom of light and there's a kingdom of darkness. There's a kingdom that God controls and there's a kingdom that Satan controls. You, my brother, and you, my sister, you are in the kingdom of God through his son, Jesus Christ. Sister Parker said, what causes a good, decent woman to keep attracting the same type of man? Sister, what that is that's where a sister have to use what God called your discernment. Your discernment. See, God, if you are a daughter of God, God give you wisdom from above. He give you knowledge to know how to apply that wisdom that you have. And when you apply the wisdom that you have through your knowledge, you understand what you're doing. And when you understand what you're doing, whoever come in front of you, God give you what is called discernment. So you can see what type of man is in front of you. That's why I also always say it, my brother and sister, whenever, brother, a woman, you see a woman, you have to say a private prayer to God and say, God, what type of woman is in front of me? And sister, when a man is about to approach you, you need to say a prayer to God. What type of man is this approaching me? Brother, you need to say why. Sister, you need to say why. You see, you need to know what type of individual, because Satan brings men to you, sisters. Brothers, Satan parade women in front of you. So you got to know who it comes from. Brother, God will bring a woman, one of his daughters, to you. And it's nothing about incest, okay? God will bring one of his daughters to you. And when God brings a woman to you, that's how he does it. Through different life experiences, God going to position a woman for you to see her, brother. And sister, you don't go looking for a man. God going to position you so the man can see you. But the thing about it, Satan know about this too. So that's why you have to use your discernment and you have to ask God what type of individual in front of you. It basically breaks down to this. That man or that woman, brother, he or she has to have the spirit of Christ, or if they don't have the spirit of Christ, they are none of his. That man and woman needs to have the light of Christ. If they don't have the light, they have darkness. There's no in between. You understand? There are no in between when God brings a woman to you, brother, or brother, when he calls you to find a woman. So, sister, if a man come to you, let me tell you something, sisters. Listen to me carefully. Your brother Tony is talking. Worldly men, and I'm going to break it down. It's just as simple, my sister. Worldly men, basically, they just want you to lay on your back and get between your legs. That's how most worldly men, they want you to lay on your back and just get between your legs. Or get your resources from you. It basically comes down to that, whether you believe it or not. And I'm trying to be realistic, my brother and sister. Sister, out of 10 men, there is a possible 3 men that had a spirit of God. The rest of them, They following Satan. So the majority of men, they just look at you to use you. Your brother Tony telling you the truth. And I'm trying to look out for you, sister. The worldly men, they just want to use you. Worldly men look at you as an object. Worldly men look at you, sister, as if the only thing they look at you, can you cook? Can you clean? Can you take care of the children? Can you keep your mouth closed? And are you good in bed? And do you look good? So you could be my trophy. That's how worldly men view you. Brothers, on the other hand, worldly women, they look at you as an ATM machine. I have always said this. They look at you like an ATM machine. Worldly women, they come not to bring assets. Worldly women are liabilities. They come to you to extract your resources from you. What do I mean? They look at you like you're a bank. You can name the bank, but they look at you as a bank. They want to get in your pockets. They want you to take care of them. They are lazy. They look good. They may be fine, but they're lazy. Any woman that come to you, brother, and she holding her hand out and they empty and trying to get in your pocket, that is a daughter of Satan. All of Satan's children are about taking. That's all they're about, taking. They will come disguised, just like their father Satan. He is an angel. He portrays himself as an angel of light. He wants to look the part of God, but he's an angel of light. He's a counterfeit. So if the father of Satan is a counterfeit, his daughter and sons are counterfeits. And you got to recognize, and the only way you're going to recognize it, you have to have God's spirit in you so you can recognize it. Now, those of you that are coming in, keep in mind, we'll talk about when God calls you to be a chosen one, what will happen to your relationship. When God calls you to be a chosen one, my brother and sister, when God sanctifies you, he's going to sacrifice you. What do I mean by that? He's sacrificing you into this world, just like he did Jesus. When he sent Jesus into this world, he sent Jesus to be the sacrificial lamb. And you, my brother, and you, sister, you are a sacrificial lamb. You are a carbon copy of Jesus. Now, when God calls you out of this world, my brother and sister, it means that the Lord, he requires your time and my time, our earthly possessions, and our energy to further his work. That's why you're here, my brothers and sisters, so you can represent Christ on earth. Now, the question comes to this. What happens to your relationship when you are called or you are awakened? That's the question. What happens when you are called or you are awakened? And the second part of it, will it affect your relationship with people, especially your mate? Let's talk about the first part. What happened to your relationship when you're called and you're awake? My brother and sister, before God called you and you heard his voice, you were walking like other men and women of this world. Your conversation was with worldly conversations. You moved with the world. But there was something in you that telling you you're not here for the world, but you were just going through the motion. But it was something that kept nagging you, my brother and sister, when you were small and throughout while you was living, something kept bothering you, and you were wondering what was going on. Let me tell you what was going on. How you doing, brother Wayne? Let me tell you what was going on. God was calling you through his spirit. What do I mean by that? If you are familiar with Samuel, when you go to the New Testament, there's a prophet that was named Samuel. His mother was barren, so she prayed to God for a son. So when she prayed to God for a son, she told God, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. So God opened up her womb. Let me tell you something, sister, about God opening up womb. Those of you that want a baby, preferably you are married or you're getting married. If you want a baby and you have a problem getting pregnant, take this from Samuel's mama. Before she went to any doctors to get any artificial insemination or whatever you want to call it, she prayed to God. She prayed to God for a son. She specifically said, God, I want a son, and I will give him back to you. Now, a lot of women, they pray to God for a son, but they don't tell God, I want to give him back to you. You see, when you pray to God, God look at the intent of your heart. Are you praying for yourself, or are you praying for God's will? That's what a lot of people do not understand. Are you praying for God's will and you to be a part of God's will, or are you selfish and you're praying for yourself? The Bible clearly say that a lot of time when we don't get what we pray for, we ask because of our own love. We ask God because we're going to use it for our benefit, not for God's benefit. So when you pray to God, it got to be something in it for God first before it's you. Now back to Samuel's mama, she prayed for a son. And when she had Samuel, when he got of age, she took him back to the temple to stay with that prophet. So as Samuel was growing up, one night he was in the bed. And when he was in the bed, I know a lot of you said, Tony, get to the point, get to the point. I am getting to the point. Just hold on. So Samuel, he was in the bed one night, sleep. And he heard a voice said, Samuel. And he woke up and he went into the prophet's room. He said, I think it was Eli. And so he went in and he said, you called me. And he said, I didn't call you, go back to bed. So Samuel went back to bed and he heard his name again, Samuel. He got up out of his bed and went back in the room where the prophet was. And he said, you called me. And the prophet said, I didn't call you, go back to bed. So Samuel went back to bed. So he heard his name again, Samuel. He got up and went to the prophet again. And at that time, the prophet said to himself, that's God calling him. And this is what he told Samuel. He said, I want you to go back to bed. And when you hear your name again, say, speak to me, Lord. So Samuel went back to bed and he heard Samuel. And Samuel basically told God, speak to me. And the Lord started speaking to him. Why did I say that, my brother? Why did I say that, my sister? Because somewhere in life, as you was growing up, the Lord was calling your name. And just like Samuel, you heard your name, but you didn't know where it was coming from. It was God's spirit wooing you. Remember, no man, the Bible clearly said that no man or no woman goes seeking the Lord. So if you hear a man or woman say, I'm going looking for the Lord, the Bible clearly say, no man or no woman seek after the Lord. If that the case, Jesus wouldn't have came. Because why did Jesus come? Jesus said he came to seek and save the lost. No man or no woman on his or own accord go seeking the Lord. And guess what, my brother and sister? When it comes to faith, you can't have faith on your own. The Lord have to give you faith. A lot of people don't understand that. The Lord have to give you faith. You don't come into this world with faith. God have to give it to you. But my brother and my sister, you have to realize that you were the chosen one. Rise Rose said, good evening. I'm trying to figure out why my granddaughter picture keep falling. I do talk to her and she's 4 and in kindergarten. Okay, she said, good evening. I'm trying to figure out why my granddaughter's picture keep falling. I do talk to her. She's 4 and in kindergarten. Will you expand more on that so I can see where you're going so I could try to help your sister? But anyway, you were going with the world, my brother and sister. You was on the broad road. But you recognize you heard Jesus calling you. Remember, Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice. That's what Jesus said. My sheep hear my voice. Let me give you another little story too. Charles Stanley, a preacher that's on TV, some of you familiar with Charles Stanley up in Atlanta, he gave a little scenario. This is what Charles said. Charles said that he went over to Jerusalem, right? And he said while he was having lunch with one of his brothers, he said at the sheep market, they were looking out the window. And he said as he was looking out the window, he said it was a shepherd there with his sheep. And he said coming down the road, there was another shepherd with his sheep. So he said the two shepherds, they start talking to one another. And he said both of their sheep start mingling together, right? So Charles said, I wonder how those shepherds going to know who their sheep are. Because he said all sheep look alike. So he sat there and watched. So Charles said the shepherd that came to talk to the shepherd that was already at the sheep market, he said that shepherd turned around and started walking off. He said when that shepherd turned around and started walking off, he said that shepherd made a certain sound with his mouth. He said when he made that certain sound with his mouth, his sheep separated from the other sheep and they started following him. So you see what I'm saying? Sheep understand their master's voice. Just like if you have a dog, my brother and sister, if you have a dog, your dog know your name. I mean, your dog know your voice. It's that simple. Your animals know your voice. And they don't have to see you. But if your animal in another room and you even say something low, especially a dog, they can hear your voice, and they'll come where you at. They'll find where you at. And that's how animals are. But we're talking about sheep. My brother and sister, you are a prince, you're a prince, and you're a sheep, and you heard the voice of the Lord. So when you heard the voice of the Lord, my brother and sister, what you did, that is faith. Faith is the substance of thing hoped for, evidence of thing not seen. You didn't see Christ, but you heard his voice. Just like Samuel did not see God. He heard his voice. That's where faith come in at. Because remember, Jesus told Thomas, when Jesus had rose from the dead, Thomas was not there. When Jesus appeared to the other apostles, the other apostles said, we seen the Lord. And Thomas said, I won't believe it until I see those nail prints in his hand and put my hand in his side. He said, I won't believe it. That's why they call him Doubting Thomas. So a few days went by. Keep in mind, Jesus heard what he said, but Jesus wasn't there. So all the apostles was in this room, and Thomas was in this room at this certain time. So nobody, no doors didn't open. All of a sudden, Jesus popped in. Bam. And Jesus said, peace be unto you. Then he looked at Thomas, and he said, Thomas, put your hand in the prism, put your finger in these holes in my hand, and then put your hand in my side. And he said, be not faithless, but believe. And Thomas said, God, my God, my God. Then after he said, my God, Jesus said basically, and I'll just paraphrase it. Jesus said, the only reason you believe in me is because you see me. And then Jesus said, blessed are those that have not seen me. So, brother and sister, you have not seen Jesus, but you heard his voice. Brother and sister, I have not seen Jesus, but I heard his voice. And let me give you one more story before we get to the meat of this, what I'm talking about. Paul, the Apostle Paul, and let me tell you all this. Paul was the last apostle. So if you hear a man or woman around here saying they're an apostle, they are lying. Paul completely said he was one born out of time. Paul identified that he was the last apostle. So if you hear a man saying he's an apostle right now, if you hear a woman saying she's an apostle, they are liars. Because in order to be an apostle, listen up, they had to see Jesus. In order to be an apostle, you had to see Jesus. Now, these men and women floating around here saying they're apostles, they haven't seen Jesus. How you doing, Sister Angie B? Now, Rise Rose said, I wake up in the morning, her picture is sitting up. As soon as I get up, it falls and asks her, what is she trying to tell me? I sit her up again. Sister Riser Roll, give me, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, sister. This young lady, she's 4 years old, and you talking about a picture. What I'm trying to understand what's going on. You know, I need a little more information. How you doing, Sister Angela B? Welcome to the night dinner table. Now, Paul was the last apostle to see Jesus. Let me tell you what happened. Paul used to kill Christians, but his name was Saul at that time, before his name got changed to Paul. He used to lock Christians up. So when Paul was on the road to Damascus, there was a light that came from heaven. And you talk about blinded by light in the noonday. It was a light that came from heaven. Paul fell off his horse. But his name was Saul at that time. Remember, his name was Saul. He fell off his horse when the light shined on him and the other men that were with him. Brother and sister, if you was back there like me, that would have shut me up too. Guess what? Paul seen Jesus. He seen him. He seen him from heaven. Paul on the ground, and he looking up in that light, he seeing Jesus. Because Jesus said, Paul, why are you persecuting me? And then Paul said, who are you? Because before that, Paul thought that Jesus was an imposter. So Jesus had to tell him who I am. So the thing about it, the men that was around Paul, check this out. They heard Jesus' voice, but they didn't see him. Paul seen him. So I'm going to tell you, my brother and sister, you heard that there was 12 apostles, right? There was actually 14. When Judas died, Peter they throw lots and they got another one. So that's 13. So when Paul came, he became the 14th apostle. There was only 14 apostles, my brother and sister. Any man or any woman, if they have not seen Jesus, they are liars. You have to see Jesus to be an apostle. But back on to what I'm saying. Why am I saying that? You heard the voice, my brother. You heard the voice, my sister, of the Lord. You was walking according to the course of the world. So when you heard the Lord's voice, you came to the Lord, God, and you became a follower of Jesus, which made you a Christian. That's how it went down. So right now, my brother and sister, you have the Spirit of God. Now, what does that have to do with relationships? When the Lord come in you, my brother and sister, I'm going to get to a relationship when you have a mate, okay? That's what I'm about to get to, but I'm going to talk about your family and friends first. When you hear the voice of the Lord and you become a Christian, Jesus started working on you. It's just like a potter shaping clay. Have you ever went to a ceramic class, my brother and sister? Have you ever seen how they work with clay? That's what Jesus is doing in you every day, every second. He's molding you. God, the Father, is molding you into the image of his son, Jesus. You got to understand that. Every second, every day, God is molding you through his son, Jesus, because you're like clay in his hand. You're set apart. You got to understand that you're set apart, my brother and sister. You got to understand who you are. So the Lord is forming you. So while the Lord is forming you, my brother and sister, to be in the likeness of his son, Jesus, your family members and friends, they're going to notice it. They're going to notice you are changing, but you're not changing. Jesus is changing you. Some of them are going to think you crazy. They're going to think you crazy. They may have meetings that you don't know about. They might try to take you to the psych ward because you on fire for Christ. They never seen it before, but they see Jesus working in you, but they can't put their finger on it because some of your family members, a lot of your family members, and a lot of your friends, they were not. The Bible say in Matthew 22:14, it say, many are called, but few are chosen. They was called too, but they were not chosen. You know why they weren't chosen? Because God looked down through eternity, and he knew that you were going to be the one that was going to follow him. He knew that you were going to do his will. Angel B said, some of them say she thinks she is something. Yes, Angel B, they will say stuff like that. Your worldly family and your friends, they going to be talking about you. And that's right, they're going to hate on you. Just like Angel B said, they're going to hate. Your enemy, my brother and sister, as the Bible says, you know what the Bible says, your enemy is those of your household. That's where your real enemy at, your household. You think it's somewhere, one of your friends, your real enemy, right? You think it's somebody in your job, like your boss. You think that's your real enemy. The Bible says your enemy is the one out of your household. That's where your real enemy at. Those that secretly hate on you, they smile in your face, they act like they support you, but their heart is not with you. It's just like when Jesus was on earth. Jesus would say a statement, you say, Lord, Lord, but your heart is not with me. And that's how a lot of your family and friends are going to do. While the Lord is molding you, my brother and sister, they see it. I'm going to give you another illustration. When Moses went up on the mountain to get the 10 Commandments, remember he was gone for 40 days, right? Moses did not have a mirror. What do I mean by that? Moses did not have a mirror. Moses went up on that mountain looking one way. And in 40 days, Moses' hair changed. He didn't know it. Moses' face was shining. He didn't know it. So when Moses came down with the 10 Commandments, picture this, my brother and sister, you ain't seen Moses in 40 days. So when Moses was coming down with the 10 Commandments, he didn't know how he was looking. His hair had changed and colors, noticeable color. And then his face was shining. They was afraid to approach Moses. Moses was wondering why they're afraid to approach me, because they seen something they never seen before. They never seen a man's face shine, and Moses did not have no Vaseline on his face. It was all glowing. His face was glowing. Moses' face was glowing so much that he used to have a veil over his face. You understand that? So when Moses had a veil over his face, they could see his eye, but his face was too shining for him. Imagine Moses' wife and his children, because he had 2 sons, but they was afraid to approach him. So what am I saying? Moses was up on that mountain with the Lord for 40 days. So when Moses was in a communication directly with God, Moses did not know that he was being transformed. And that was on the outside. So when the people seen him, they knew that he had a close encounter with God. So right now, my brother and sister, when you spend time with God, your family and friend, they're going to see that light, but it's not on the outside. They're going to see it coming from inside out. So your light, unlike Moses on the outside, your light is on the inside. And when the Lord is working on you in Jesus, they're going to see the light of Christ. That's why on Judgment Day, when they say, I didn't see you, Lord, and stuff, the Lord going to say, well, your brother was in front, your brother was talking to you, I was in him. Your sister was talking to you, I was in him or her. Your mama was talking to you, I was in her. Your daddy was talking to you, I was in him. So there's not going to be no excuses on Judgment Day, because some people think that Jesus is up in heaven, right? He is in heaven, but Jesus is also in his son, in men and women that are sons and daughters of his Father God. That's why they look at you strange, my brother and sister. Your family members going to look at you strange when God called you out of the world, because he's transforming you into the likeness of his son, Jesus. Now let's get to a relationship with a mate. Let's say this, my brother and sister. Let's say that you have a relationship, brother, with a woman, and you both are not saved. Sister, let's say that you have a relationship with a man and you both are not saved. Brother, let's say you finally give attention to the Lord's voice. He was calling you and your woman, but he called you for a particular work. So you gave heed to Jesus' voice. So you get saved. Jesus' spirit come in you. And your girlfriend, or whatever you want to call her, excuse me, or even your wife, she noticed some changes in you. You've been awakened. Your wife or your person, your girlfriend, she is the walking dead. Your wife could even be the walking dead, because you, brother, you and your wife, you're both dead together. But you decided when the Lord woo you through his spirit to follow the Lord. So the Lord saved you. And while the Lord saving you, he's molding you into the likeness of his son, Jesus. Let's say you married, your wife see it. All she know is you changing. She noticed that you was one way this way, but now how you used to talk, you don't talk that way no more. How you used to treat her, you treat her better. Even on your job, your boss see that you are a better employee. Your family members see a big change in you. What you used to do, like if you used to go to clubs and stuff with your boys and stuff, you don't do that no more. They think it's strange too. Your boys, they start talking about you, brother, behind your back. Everybody start talking to you. You are a gazing stock, brother, because you are crazy. That's what they're gonna start talking. They say he crazy. Some of them might say you crazy in your face. They say something wrong with you. Some of them might get to the point where they say you a Jesus freak. Yeah, let them call you a Jesus freak. That's one of the best things they could call you, a Jesus freak. Let them do that. They're gonna notice that the Lord is working in you. That was your family member. But we talk about your mate, that woman in your life, brother. She's gonna see it. And when you start talking to her, brother, when you start talking to that woman in your life that's not awakened, and she's in Satan matrix, you got to understand it, brother. You got to be patient with her, especially you married to her. You got to be patient, because at one time you and her were still walking that same way. She can't see what you see, because you are a chosen one. If she is in the world, my brother, she cannot understand spiritual things. Spiritual things to that woman that you married to, if she not saved, she can't understand it. So don't get frustrated with her. Be patient. Maybe the Lord will open up her faith to you like he did with Lillian. When Paul talked to Lillian, the Bible said that God opened up her heart. You see, the Lord opened up your heart to have faith. You don't get faith on your own, my brother and sister. God does all the leg work. Sister Angela B said, and they don't want to be around you anymore. That is true. Brother and sister, your family member and friend, they're going to start withdrawing from you. Not all of them, but majority of them. Brother, that woman that you let's say you go with a woman, she probably going to start pulling from you. Brother, that woman, that your wife, probably going to start pulling from you. Because whereas you did not want to, she's going to notice that you're reading the Bible. She's going to notice that you're praying. She's going to notice that you're probably looking at gospel programs. She's going to notice that your musical taste and change. She's probably going to look at how you dressing now. You used to have your shirt open and your chest open. She's going to notice that you can start buttoning your shirt up. She's going to notice that you are more groomed now. She's going to notice a whole change, but she's going to notice that Christ is changing you. Sister Angela B, single people, that is, word of people. Amen. So that the woman going to notice you, brother. There is going to be a change. So you, brother, that the Lord called, and you and that woman were walking dead. I have to say it. You both were walking spiritual dead, but you know, brother, you know that the Lord was calling you for a long time. You just didn't see him, but you heard his voice. And then the same thing to you sisters. The same thing was going to happen. When the Lord called you, you was walking with your boyfriend or your husband. Then you listened to the voice of the Lord. You didn't see him, but you finally listened to him. So the Lord saved you. I'm not saying you got saved. No, the Lord saved you. So when you look in the book of Acts, no one, let me tell you this, my brother and sister, no one never joins a church. Let's get this out of our vocabulary. No man or woman never join a church. When you look at Acts, it said the Lord adds to the church such who should be saved. Listen to this again in the book of Acts. If you don't believe me, Google it. Put in there the Acts and said the Lord, put something like the Lord adds to the church such who should be saved. So let me tell you this, my brother and sister, the Lord is the one that pulling people. Some people will say, oh, the Lord is biased now, ain't he? No, he's not biased. The Lord already know what you're going to do when you came into the world. He knew who was going to follow him. He knew who was going to do his will. I hate to tell you this, my brother and sister, but some of you that got mamas, some of you that got daddies, some of you that got brothers, sister, and family member, everybody is not going to heaven. Let's rest this crap now. Everybody is, all your family is not going to heaven. Even your grandmama, she might not go to heaven. Your granddaddy, he might not go to heaven. It depends on what type of relationship they have with the Lord. You cannot go by. How you doing, Sister Ashford? Welcome to the dental tech. You cannot go by how good grandmama and granddaddy treat you, or your mom and your dad, and all. You can't go by that, because God said our righteousness is like filthy rag. It all comes down to whether or not that man or woman had a relationship with Jesus. That's what it comes down to. You don't know to what extent that man and woman had a relationship with God. You can guess. No man or no woman don't want they mama, dad, or sister, or brother to bust hell wide open. What man or woman want their dad or mama, sister, brother to bust hell wide open? No one. Everybody want their family to get saved. When you go to funerals, my brother and sister, everybody gets saved, right? You hear everybody get saved. That's a lie. Everybody that comes, and then you all hear the thing, rest in peace. Rest in peace. He or she now, they rest in peace. That's a lie. Everybody don't rest in peace. Everybody's not going to be saved. Only those that follow God through his son Jesus. And not by our works. It's about our faith. Back to that man, sister, that man that you're in a relationship with. The Lord called you. You used to twerk. You don't twerk no more. You used to be on social media twerking. You used to like to go to girls. You like to go to girl cruise with your girls to Jamaica, so you could meet Winston, right? So you could, what's in Jamaica? And you see, y'all thought I was going to say what's in Vegas stays in Vegas. What's in Jamaica stays in Jamaica. You don't want to do that kind of stuff no more. That little sneaky stuff. You don't want to do that no more. And some of you brothers that say you're going on a fishing trip with your boys, you don't want to sneak around no more. Because you have been called by God. You living a righteous life. I didn't say no perfect life. You're living a righteous life. So you were called. And brother and sister, if you are in a relationship with a man or a woman, and if they're spiritually dead, there is going to be a change in your relationship. If you are single, more than likely they're going to leave you. Listen to me. Yes, you love her brother. Yes, you love him, sister, and y'all single, but you were not married. You call yourself girlfriend and boyfriend. If you're not doing it God way, brother and sister, let's say you live with a man. I mean, you live with a woman, brother. Let's say you live with a woman, brother. And let's bring you sisters in here too. Let's put it all together. You say brothers and sisters. Let's say you living with someone and you're not married. Let's say you living with someone, you're not married, but you call yourself hubby and wifey. But now the Lord have saved you. You know what's going to happen to you, brother and sister? Your conscience is going to start working on you. Your conscience is going to say, This is wrong. You've been with that man, you've been living with that man, sister, 20 years. You're not married to him. Brother, you've been living with that woman 20 years, you're not married to her. Or y'all could live in separate quarters and y'all having sex and stuff together, right? You're having sex, right? And then your conscience gonna say, I can't keep doing this. Because let me tell you, at one time, brother, I'm talking to you single brothers sister right now, when you were fornicating, like your brother Tony. How you doing, my little sister Renee? This Yolanda, how you doing, sister Yolanda? Yolanda said the scriptures say men are called, but few are chosen. Amen. My brother and sister, let me tell you this. I have sinned in my life. I have sinned. Let me tell you how I sinned. I'm going to give you a prime example. Before I got married, I'm not talking to Cinderella. If you don't know this, you're about to know now. I used to be married before I met Cinderella, okay? Prior to meeting Cinderella, I cohabitated with a woman. So some of you saying, what cohabitation mean? That means I lived with the woman. We were living together. She lived with me. Not Cinderella now. It was not Cinderella. It was not Cinderella. You see that woman in that picture back there? It wasn't her. It wasn't her. I'm going to tell you about her shortly. But I was living without being married. I was wrong. I was wrong. The Lord agitated my spirit, and I know it was wrong. Fornicating. Yes, I was fornicating. It was wrong. And the Spirit of the Lord saying it's wrong. And it would not give me comfort. Just like some of you single brothers and sisters too. You are living with someone or you're in a relationship with someone and the Spirit of the Lord says, stop doing that crap. It's wrong. You're not married to that man or woman. It's wrong. Whether you stay in different quarters, his house, he stay in his house, you stay in your house. Or y'all stay together. If you're not serious in a committed or covenant relationship, it's wrong. It's not, it's fornication. That's what the Bible says. It's not called making love. Like you hear on the radio and stuff. It's not making love. It is making lust. You are fornicating. Fornicating is when you're not married to someone. Look at the dictionary if you don't believe me. It ain't making love. God called it fornication. Just like I did when I was living in sin with the woman before it was a marriage. I was sinning against God. That's why his spirit was working on me. And it came to an end. Some of you all want to know, that's a long story, but it came to an end. Now, let me tell you, you all see that lady back down that picture right there? Let me see. Let my hand go. That one. You see that one? That woman right there. When we first started dating, when we started talking about marriage, you know what I told that lady right there? Yeah, that one right there. You know what I told her? I told her we were not going to live together. I told Cinderella, I said, we ain't living together until we get married. You know why I told Cinderella that? Because I wanted to do it God's way. I failed when I did it my way. Worldly relationship. When I got with her, it was a spiritual relationship because she agreed with me. She walked that road before. Yeah, that cute one right there. She walked that road before. She didn't want no part of it. I didn't want no part of it. We wanted to do what was right before God. So when did we start living together? When I said I do and when she said I do. That was what God wanted. That's why we have more peace in our relationship than I had in the past and what she had in the past. We did it God's way this time. How you doing, Sister Cheryl Smith? How you doing? We did it God's way this time. So your relationship will change, my brother. Your relationship will change, my sister, if you are a chosen one and you are dating someone. If you're single, it's going to change. That man or woman going to leave you because they're not going to be able to bear the light. Your lifestyle is going to change completely because you're going to start thinking more about heavenly things. Let me tell you, this worldly stuff, my brother and sister, if you're in Christ, this worldly stuff is not going to have no appeal to you. If you used to play the lotto, if you used to play the lotto, my brother and sister, you're not going to want to play it too much no more. It may take you a while to break it off, but you're going to see that God don't work that way. Now, I know I'm stepping on some toes. Now, God do not want you giving money to the government to play the lotto trying to get rich. If you're going to give your money to somebody, you're supposed to give it to someone that needs help. Like a stranger that's out there that needs food and stuff. That's where you're supposed to put your money. You don't supposed to put your money trying to win $1 million. That's not God's way. That's the devil's way. You understand? I know they're going to get some people, I know I'm stepping on some toes. All that stuff, what you used to do, my brother and sister, you're going to wean yourself away from it. It's just like this. When God saved you, you chosen one. It's just like you a baby. You all know a baby, you have to wean the baby off the boiler, right? Listen to this. You all know what I'm talking about. That baby get at a certain age, and then you wean the boiler away. Yes, it might cry and stuff, but you wean the boiler away from the baby, or you stop putting that pacifier in that baby's mouth. Because what you're doing, you are helping that child to develop. That's what the Lord does. When the Lord starts breaking those shackles on your feet, you all remember that song, Shackles on Your Feet. When the Lord starts breaking those shackles off your feet, my brother and sister, he is conforming you more into the likeness of his son, Jesus Christ. So that woman, brother, or that man, brother, that you with when Christ called you out of this world, they are not going to understand you. They may call you crazy. They may call you a Christ freak. They're going to do it just like some of your family members be talking about you in your back, behind your back. Some of your workmates, they're going to be talking about you. You think they're on your side, right? The world is against Christ. A lot of people that you love, they front like they love Christ. They hate him. They ain't no verbally tell you that they hate him, but they go through the motion. And you will be able to see it because you got discernment. So yes, you single people that are dating that person, y'all gonna start clashing. Those of you that are married, and you, brother, you was in a dead, you and your wife, y'all was walking in the day, y'all were both dead. Sister, you and that man both dead. Sister Angela B said, conscience will whip you. That's right. That's right, Sister Angela B. Your conscience is going to call Jesus' spirit in you, and it's going to be talking to your soul. Your soul and your mind, your will, and your emotion. You're going to have a conflict because, brother, that woman, your wife that's not saved, you're going to have conflicts with her. You're going to want her to follow you as you follow Christ, but she's going to want to go to her family church. I'm stepping on some toes now. She want to go to her family church where she was brought up at. You want to go and follow Christ where true believers at. She want to compromise with you. Why don't this Sunday we go to where you at, and then next Sunday we go here? She want to compromise. Don't compromise with her. You, brother, you are the head and leader of the relationship. Christ hold you responsible. You don't compromise when it comes to Jesus. That's what happened to Adam. He listened to Eve. He compromised. Job didn't listen to his wife. He did not compromise. Adam compromised, and he got kicked out. Job did not compromise. God blessed him greatly. Sister, you get saved. Your husband on Sunday, he wants you to sit down and look at the football game with him. He wants you to go and cook those collard greens. Nope, you cook the collard greens on Saturday, You tell him, I get with you at the football game after worship. Especially if it's home. Say, I catch it on ESPN. I catch it on replay. But I'm going to the Lord's house. And brother, you have to be able to tell your wife and your whole family, just like Joshua said, as far as me and my house, we going to serve the Lord. If she don't want to serve the Lord, just dust the dirt off your shoe, brother, and you keep on serving the Lord. Sister, if he don't want to serve the Lord, you just dust your foot. Don't beat him with it, sister. Some women, you want to beat the man and say, you need to do this. Don't do it. Let him do his thing. Brother, let her do her thing. God called you. It's sad to say to my brother and sister, but some of you that are married right now, it's sad to say. But some of you brother that say your wife might be busting hell wide open. Some of you sister, your husband may be busting hell wide open. You can't make their mind up for them. You got to face that reality. You, brother, and you, sister, you are a chosen one. You have to do the Lord's bidding. The Lord has a plan for you. So you, brother and sister, you know you are chosen. Yes, you have sinful tendencies. Yes, you will sin. But the Lord is your advocate with the Father. Jesus cleansed you, but what you have to do is go to Jesus and confess what you have done. You got to call it by name. And Jesus will forgive you, but you're going to have a consequence. I'm letting you know that you're going to have a consequence if you disobey the Lord. Yes, your relationship is going to change. Especially those of you that are in a relationship with a brother. If you're in a relationship with a woman, it's going to change. If she's spiritually dead, it's going to change. Sister, you're in a relationship with a man, especially married, it's going to change because one is following Christ, the other following the devil. The devil and Christ have nothing in common. The devil children, they're going to see you. Some of you brothers you married to one of Satan's daughters. She's going to try to get you to do some stuff to prove you wrong. She's going to do it. Sister, that man, he's going to challenge you. He's going to try to get you to do something wrong. Because they want to pull you down. You all heard of like how crabs be in a bucket, how they be trying to pull you down. That's how some of your husband and wife, they're going to try to pull you down. They're going to say, you ain't that good. What make you good? You ain't special. You special to God because men are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. Matthew 22:14. Many are called, but few are chosen. That's who you are, brother. That's who you are. Identify yourself. Yes, your relationship is going to change. Unless you did it the right way. Brother, you got with a Christian woman. Sister, you got with a Christian man. You did not enter into the abyss. You did not set yourself up for failure. You are a chosen one. You are special. You are special to the Lord. You may not be special to the world. The world includes your own family. The world includes your friends. The world includes your co-workers. Your world includes some people on social media. The most important relationship that you need to have straight, my brother and sister, is your relationship with God through his son, Jesus, before the world. The Lord Jesus said, you're not worthy of him if you love your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, and all that before him. Jesus refused to be number two. If Jesus can't be number one, he is not going to be number two. Jesus got to be number one in your life. You brothers and you sisters, let me tell you this. If you're in a relationship, you see that woman back there? Let me put my hand right. See that woman right there? She is not my number one. She will never be my number one. You know who my number one? Up there. God. She will never be number one. You see that man right there? I will never be her number one. I will never be her number one. You know who Cinderella number one? Jesus. We understand. My wife would never tell me I'm your number one. She would never tell me that. And I would never tell her you my number one. I love you, call you my number one. I would never tell my wife I love you, call you my number one. I say I love you, but I ain't gonna say you my number one. I'm not a fool. She not gonna tell me that you my number one. I would tell her you number two on my list. She would tell me I'm number two on her list. Even though we're not perfect. We're a long way from being perfect, but we understand priority. It's God. It's God. God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man. Man is the head of woman. How you doing, Brother Toomer? Welcome to the dinner table. So understand it, my brother. Understand this. When Christ called you, you are special. And thank you for coming to the dinner table, my brother and sister. Thank you so much for coming to the dinner table. I enjoyed giving you this good soul food. You needed it. I needed it. I want you to get us a plate. We got plenty of plates. I want you to take it with you and share it with some of your other family members and friends. Share it because we got plenty. Those of you that are on the book, go ahead, like and share and make comments. Those of you that are on the tube, go ahead. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. So when I come on with the dinner, you will be notified that it's dinner time, and make a comment. My brother and sister, when I come to you, I don't want you to make some boo-boos like I have. I have walked down the valley for a lot of you brothers and sisters. That's why I could use some of my life experiences. I'm not no better than some of you brothers that looking at me. I'm not better than you. I was a sinner, and I'm subject to sin. That's a battle of the flesh and the spirit. I have to make a decision to follow the spirit, my brothers and sisters. That's what I have to do. I have to do that. This is something every time. It never fails. When I'm doing my show, somebody will always have to do something. But anyway, my brothers and sisters, I love you. I love you. I love you. I want you brothers and sisters to take this meal out. It's plenty more. Share with your family members. Share with your friends. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, when God called you to be a chosen one, what will happen to your relationship? They going to change. How you doing, brother Joe? They going to change. And so are you. But you changing for the better because you are son or daughter of the Most High God through his son, Jesus Christ. Peace out.